Hey YouTubers, it's Charlie. This is going to be my Legends of Tomorrow episode 4 video. Just careful for spoilers if you haven't seen the episode yet. Couple really awesome things going on in this episode. They introduce a couple new characters and a really big storyline from the comics. They're doing their version of the Firestorm protocols from the New 52. So if you're not familiar with that comic book storyline, I'll explain it a little bit, but in the name of expediency, because so much huge stuff is happening this weekend, I'm just going to hit all the most important stuff. It was a great episode, mostly for Captain Cold, who's always amazing. Wentworth Miller needs his own show that's not Prison Break. And 2, it was a really big Firestorm episode. So the premise of the episode is that we're in the 80s, Vandal Savage has defected to the Soviet Union, the Cold War is still raging, and he is secretly trying to develop his own Firestorm. Now you see a whole bunch of test subjects, they're all dead, so it's not like there's going to be millions of Firestorms. But the idea in the comics, the big storyline is called the Firestorm Protocols. It's the mechanisms and the methods for becoming a Firestorm. Martin Stein develops them, but then he presumably dies, so he leaves behind this legacy with Ronnie Raymond and Jason Rush, and they have to protect it. But it gets into the hands of a bunch of different governments, so you wind up with firestorms popping up all over the world, and you have what are called sanctioned firestorms and unsanctioned firestorms. It literally turns into a nuclear arms race, so you have a lot of firestorm protocols being traded on the black market. Those become the unsanctioned firestorms. So just think of Vandal Savage Firestorm program as being an analog of the Soviets and the United States developing nuclear technology in real world history. It's like, oh, you have the power to destroy the world, we have the power to destroy the world now too. The core that Martin Stein is trying to steal in the episode is the key in making those firestorms, so that Vandal Savage can't do that anymore. And we find out that Valentina Vostok, who's Negative Woman from the comics, is helping Vandal Savage develop the technology. If she looks familiar, she was the wife of the antagonist from Mr. Robot in Season 1, so I was really excited when she was cast for the show. She plays this really mysterious character on Mr. Robot, so I was just like, oh hell yeah, please more Valentina Vostok. And as the end of the episode implies, this is a 2-part episode, so like they get captured at the end of the episode, next week will be the resolution to that. Just to explain Negative Woman in the comics a little bit, she wasn't quite so much a villain. She was a Russian who defected to the United States, became part of Doom Patrol, and was really a minor comic book character. I was never a big fan of the Doom Patrol comics, so I'm totally cool with whatever the TV show wants to do with her. But the most fun part of her storyline is Captain Cold just laying the charm on. No pun intended, but he's the coolest dude in that crew. A lot of the early marketing for the show and the things the producers were saying about the characters made it seem like Ray Palmer was going to be one of the leaders, but I really feel like Wentworth Miller and Captain Cold's character, as it's written in the show and as it's performed, has pulled the rug out from anyone else that thinks that they're in charge. He is the runaway favorite from this show, and I think it's all because Wentworth Miller is so charming. I mean, the character's written really well too, so when a bunch of characters are written really well, it's the actor's job to turn it into something even bigger. And I feel like Wentworth Miller has just been crushing it, but maybe you guys have a different favorite character on the show. We're barely even into the season, and if you remember The Flash Season 1, it really took the first 9 or 10 episodes for that show to find some of its characters. People really didn't even start going crazy for it till the back half, like, oh my god, this is a thing that's been going on, how have we missed this? This is so awesome. So I feel like the same thing is happening with Legends of Tomorrow. And you have to remember that a lot of these characters are even smaller from the comics, like even lesser characters. So there's a lot of extra development work to do. Like especially Hawkgirl's character. She's a brand new hero, fresh off the press. So her personality is still emerging. And I like the dichotomy that they presented. As in like her warrior mode is an actual different personality inside of her that takes over. Some of you have been asking like where her wings go when she's not Hawkgirl. Think of it as a quasi-metahuman mystical ability, as in Billy Batson turning into Shazam. I know they changed the name. Technically his name's Captain Marvel, but DC has kind of played with the name a little bit. Her power is a little more mystical than something that could be explained by science, like the dark matter explosion in Metahumans. But if you want to read the Firestorm Protocols, I mean, I wasn't a really big fan of the New 52 run in general. That was kind of an era of comics that I sat out and then went back and read later, like the stuff that I needed to, especially during Flash Season 1. But Firestorm Protocols is the New 52 run of Firestorm collected in Volume 2. So let me know in the comments what was your favorite moment from the episode and who's your favorite character so far. Remember there's 16 episodes, so we're not even halfway into the season, so if you feel like certain characters haven't been developed as well as others, there will be episodes like that later in the season. I feel like we really need a badass Adam episode, because right now the tone of his character feels a little off. I feel like he's gonna get more cynical as the series goes on. Like Captain Cold's personality will rub off on him, just like his personality rubs off on Captain Cold. You spend enough time with a bunch of people trapped in a tin can flying through time and space, you're either 1, gonna kill each other, or 2, you're all gonna start thinking and acting like each other. But if you didn't see it, I just did a new trailer for The Flash next week. they tease that they might be revealing who Zoom is. He might rip the mask off. I'm not expecting it to be that simple. I think there'll be some twist where it's like he doesn't look like a character that we know, even though he's an Earth 2 version of a character that we've seen before. And there is a new Game of Thrones trailer that's going to be coming tomorrow. I'll do a video for that. Then I'll do my Walking Dead video because The Walking Dead's also back too, FYI. It's going to be a really awesome weekend. Really busy Sunday too. And giveaway time. Congratulations to this week's Reverse Flash giveaway winner, Mordecai. Please private message me on the back end of my channel so I can get your contact details. I'll start a new round of the giveaway whenever I post my Flash video next week. So while you guys wait for that next video to post, you can click here for that Flash trailer, and you can click here for my non-spoilery Deadpool review. Be sure to go see Deadpool this weekend. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Let's high five. I'll see you guys tonight.